always be someone who is better. And that person is me.
Hi guys, it's Ali. I wanted to make a guide on how to play Qiyana because I got asked a lot on stream to do this. I have a lot of new people that want to learn the champ. I have a lot of people that ask me questions about builds, abilities, combos, so I figured I'd just put it all in one location for you guys to look at. In this guide, I want to be talking about her abilities first, but not just reading them. I want to go into depth about what every single ability does, how you can use it. Then I want to talk about combos that are actually useful. I watch a lot of guides, but most of the combos are not very useful. And then I want to talk about runes and how to play some matchups, and then some tips and tricks that you might not know, places you can jump over walls, places you can grab elements from, things you may not know. So I hope this helps and answers a lot of questions that I normally get on stream. So I wanted to start off explaining Qiyana's basic kit. So starting with the passive, Qiyana's attacks and abilities deal an additional bonus physical damage. This effect has a 25-second per target cooldown. So what this means is your first attack against a champion is going to do more damage. And then they're going to be marked with the elements that you're hitting them with. So Qiyana has 3 elements, right? She has rock. She has grass. And she has ice. You see when I auto a target, they get marked with whatever element that I'm autoing them on. This means that they are marked in my passive. So in order to do more damage to them after their first attack, I would need to swap elements. And this gets rid of the passive on the enemy, so I'm able to do more damage again. And this is one of the most important parts of Qiyana's kit, right? Because this is where half your damage is coming from. If you were to, say, Ice Q a target, and then not switch elements, and Ice Q again, I'm gonna have diminished damage, and this is gonna be the difference between a kill and a difference between not getting the kill, right? So whenever you're using Qiyana's elements, you always want to be swapping elements so you can reset her passive and do the most damage possible. And moving on to Qiyana's Q. This is her main source of damage, right? This is where her abilities actually come from. So if Qiyana does not have an enchantment, she slashes, dealing physical damage to enemies in a small area. So basically, when your Q is not enchanted with an element, it does damage still, right? It's kind of her range early game. It gives you a little bit of ability to farm early against ranged matchups if you can reach the minions, right? But when Qiyana has an element, there are 3 types of Qs that she has, right? She has her rock Q. Qiyana blasts her enchantment forward, dealing bonus damage, and this basically executes or does more damage to targets below 50% health, right? So this is the element that you want to be using when people are low HP. This is the element that you should be using at the end of your combos, right? Because if the champion is lower HP, you benefit off this element. Qiyana also has Ice Q, right? Qiyana roots for half a second and slowing by 20% for 1 second, right? So this is going to be her root. It's a really, really short root. It doesn't root for pretty long, but this is very useful against matchups like LeBlanc, like Fizz, where you need to root them before you R them so they can't get out of your ulti. This is also good for holding people in place when you want to eventually get Prowlers and full combo them. And then you have Qiyana's grass element. When you throw out your Q with Qiyana's grass element, you get a stun. Let me read it for you guys. So, she leaves a trail behind that makes Qiyana invisible and grants her 20% move speed. Enemies beyond the first take 75% damage instead. Alright, so basically, when Qiyana throws out her grass Q, she goes invisible. You can walk through it until it goes away. If you step out of her grass Q, it'll eventually just go away. So what you want to do when you throw this out, for the most time possible, you want to stay inside of it. You can also grab elements when you're inside of this, right? So I can Q my grass, immediately grab grass again or a different element and walk in it. A lot of people use this when you spam grass, right? This is why CDR is so important on this champ. Q and W while you're in grass, have that stealth ready for your next Q. So this is really important part about her kit. It's also really useful in matchups like Irelia, where you need to stall. Matchups like Yasuo, where he can't take his R if you have grass. Matchups like Akali. Using disenchantment is really, really important. Right, so the next part of Qiyana's kit I want to talk about is her W. While Qiyana's weapon is enchanted, she gains 20% attack speed, but her attacks deal an additional magic damage. She also gains 11% move speed while out of combat to the corresponding terrain I can't speak terrain type. Basically, what this ability does is it helps you grab elements. So, when you have an element in your hands, you get move speed based on if you are near the element, right? So if I have the grass element and I'm in grass, I'm going to be moving faster, right? If I'm going to roam top lane, I want to always grab water because I will move faster in water, right? If I get rid of this water element, you see, I will move slower because I am not in the water with the right element. So you always want to grab this, you go a little faster. If you're walking near walls, it's important to grab rock. You get that extra movement speed, kind of similar to Talia. It's really, really important and really big when roaming to grab the right elements. Also, an important thing is when you're walking to lane, you should always be hugging the side of the wall. Because this will give you movement speed towards lane faster, as you can see. Also, just learning where you can get elements is really important, right? So you can cancel the animation of her W. In spots like this, right? See, if I hug the wall, I'm gonna cancel this animation and get grass really fast. See how my character doesn't really move. Different if I were like here, I'm gonna move towards this location, right? So this is also important to know. You can grab water from this side. You can even grab water from here. When you're jumping over things, like, you should pay attention to if I want to grab water right here, if I want to grab grass instead. Like, all of this is really important. I recommend if you wanted to learn this, you should go and practice tool and just W around location to see where you can grab certain elements. It's also important when the map changes, right? For water drake, they'll end up being water right here instead of rock, or there'll be water in areas like this. So it's important to note when the map changes, also where you get elements changes. Also another thing is the river, right? When I think it's a mountain soul, you can't get water from here, so this would turn into rock. So this is also like really important to know when you're playing this champion. Just experience where you can get elements, W around. Yeah, just practice it. The next part of Qiyana's kit is her E. Qiyana dashes through an enemy and deals physical damage to them. So her E does a bit of damage, right? Not only does it take you to this fixed location, but it also does a really good amount of damage, right? And pretty simple to understand. It's just a dash, tap closer. Okay, and the last part of Qiyana's kit is her R. So, Qiyana launches a shockwave that knocks back enemies and detonates when it hits terrain. The explosion follows the entire area of the terrain, setting for half a second to 1 second and dealing damage plus 10% max health physical damage. The stun duration scales down to the distance the shockwave has traveled. So basically what this means is if you're going to R a champion, it's gonna R the entire wall. But that little delay shows the places where it stuns, right? So if I have an enemy champion here and I have an enemy champion here, if I R like this, it's gonna knock back them, it's gonna stun them. But I will have to wait this long until this target gets stunned, right? So if you instant want to stun a target, you need to be very, very close to the location that you're stunning them. This is like really, really important with matchups like Zed, where you want to instantly stun him so he cannot move out of your location. Same with LeBlanc. You want to instantly try to stun them so she can't W out of your R, or like Echo, so he can't R out of your R, right? So this is really important. Also, Qiyana's R not only stuns walls, it also stuns in river. So if I were to R this target in river, it's gonna briefly knock them back and then stun. And this is really, really, really big for fights that happen at Drake, right? Because I can eventually end up R'ing here. It will not only knock back because of the river, it will R this entire wall, which is huge for team fights, especially at Baron as well. Baron fights are really huge with Qiyana. She has a very, very good steal potential when it comes to objective fights, so this knockback is super, super important. It's also important to note that she stuns not only in river, but she stuns in bushes too. A lot of people don't know this. So if you are not close to a wall and you're trying to gank a lane and you feel like you can't hit them on the wall, you can also stun the bush, and it has a pretty big range, right? My R is going to reach here, this location, so this is really good to know for outplays. People will not expect this. A lot of people also don't know this, right? So this is important to know. Like, this is such a big location, right? Not only stuns this entire bush, but stuns the entire wall as well.
I have raised jungles, shaped lands, and commanded rivers. This world answers to me.
So I'd like to move into combos. Qiyana's main spikes when she gets her Prowlers. So before then, you kind of want to play the lane with a few combos. So, and also this is matchup dependent, so don't take this as general help. So one of the combos Qiyana has in lane is QWQ, right? So when you QWQ, you not only use your passive, so you want to start with an element like grass or ice to make sure you get that extra damage from her rock Q. So basically you Q target, W towards the target or away depending on where you are in lane, W and Q, and that gets off a hefty amount of damage, right? Another combo that I'd use in lane that's pretty useful, especially when you have Electrocute, you could Q with grass, W while you're in grass, auto attack them, Q, walk away. This gives you Electrocute proc. This is super useful for trading, and it also gives you space to get closer to them. They may not expect it, right? Because you're in stealth. So this is also really useful. You can also Q, W, and EQ away. This will also proc Electrocute. You can also fit an auto in if you want, but these are some of the general combos you're going to be using in laning phase, right? This is before your Prowler spike. This is usually before level 6. All of these are really useful. There's also a mechanic that I need to mention that Qiyana has. If you press E and Q at the same time on a target, the Q will auto-aim towards the target. You can press these buttons in rapid succession. The Q will always auto-aim to where you're aiming. Previous patches, it would auto-aim towards a flash, if someone flashed away, or dash, but now if they're out of range, it'll just Q to the fixed location and it won't hit them anymore. This is just important to know, especially when you're going in to execute someone. It's really important to use this combo because 90% of the time it will hit them and you will have to aim it. But if you were to E slowly and then Q delayed, you can free aim it. But if you EQ at the same time, it'll always auto aim. Once you hit level 6, your combos start to change a bit. So you can look for an all-in. Usually if the lane state is good. Your all-in combo is going to be I mean, you can do it a few different ways, but normally it's going to be EQ, R, auto attack, WQ. Right? And you want to fit in an auto attack every single time you R. Because while your R is midair, you get that extra damage off. This is really huge. It's the difference between a kill and not getting the kill. So this is going to be your main combo all-in-wise. So like I also mentioned, you can E through minions to get to enemy mid laner. They won't expect it. So you can E, Q through a minion, and then immediately R them auto attack WQ. This is also really useful because most of the time people won't expect the range. They won't expect you to E through a minion to get to them. So you can surprise people with that as well. When it comes to full comboing someone, there are a few different ways you can do it. So I'm just including the ways that I feel like are most successful for me. So when you're looking to all-in someone and you have your Prowler spike, right? So what I just did was ER, Prowlers, auto attack, QWQ. You can Prowlers onto a target before your R hits the wall, and the Prowler's damage will apply to that wall. Right, so I'm getting so much extra damage from this. This is really important to know. If you're planning to all-in someone with everything you have, you want to make sure that you Prowlers them, and you also want to make sure you're fitting an auto attack in before your R hits, and then you can just combo them. Once you get your Prowler spike, your combos tend to change a bit. It's also important to know the interaction Prowlers has with Qiyana Grass Q. So if you Grass Q on Qiyana, you can actually Prowlers onto someone, and it won't take you out of the stealth until you attack them. So a lot of Qiyana's, good Qiyanas will use this to reposition their R. Again, it doesn't take you out of the stealth until you actually do damage to them. This is really big. One of the combos that you'll be using with Prowlers, a really simple combo, is Q, W, Prowlers, auto attack, EQ. This, when done really fast, is pretty lethal to champions that don't have exhausts or squishy champions. Usually will one-shot most people, so do this slow again. Q, W, Prowlers, auto attack, EQ. You want to be making sure you use your execute raw Q at the end of the combo to do the most damage possible. Another combo with Prowlers that you can use, it's pretty simple. It's just Prowlers EQ. You can also fit an auto attack in. Prowlers auto attack EQ. It's probably will one-shot a lot of people, but if someone's really low HP, you can just use this as an execute. The last Prowlers combo that I feel like is pretty useful, and this one can be hard to learn at first if you're new to Qiyana, but it's gonna be Prowlers, auto attack, Q, W, EQ. And you want to do this really fast. There are a few things that I need to mention with this combo. So when you Prowlers onto a target, Prowlers grants you 15% increased damage for the next 90 seconds. So this is really lethal if you use this correctly. Prowlers, auto attack, Q, W, EQ. When done fast, it looks like this.
Line them up. I will bend their knees.
When it comes to interactions with Flash, Qiyana has a few, so you can Q Flash on the champ pretty easily. Pretty straightforward, just Q Flash, just surprise enemy. You can also E Flash, so E has an animation rate. You can see it's kind of slow. But like a lot of other champions, you can flash E if you're in range, and it will be instantaneous. In general, grabbing the right element when you're doubling over a wall is really, really important. Spots like this, you want to make sure that you're grabbing, you know, grass if you need it. Obviously the map changes, and spots like this will have ice. Like with water map, water soul. So this is a really, really important part of your kit that you want to try to master. I recommend going in practice soul, Wing around the map, seeing where you can grab certain things. Obviously, there's a bigger range for some spots, like on river. This looks like rock, but you can actually grab ice from here. It goes even all the way up to here. And then yeah, you just practice this as much as you can. So here, Raptor Pit is another place that you can double. You can actually grab all three elements from this location. So I can grab grass from here, I can grab water from here, and I can also grab rock. Rock is being the easiest, right? Jump over, have a rock element ready. I can grab grass. Just like that. Have grass ready. You can also grab ice. You can grab all three elements from this location. This is pretty important to know, not a lot of people know this. I think one of the most not known spots Qiyana can W over is this wall, the raptor wall actually. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to put your cursor on this little leaf that's right here. And then you're going to put it on the other side of this tree, basically this marker. And you can jump over this wall. It's kind of hard to get used to this. You might have to try it a couple times, but you have to get in the right spot. Otherwise, if you click like higher, you won't be able to jump it. If you click lower, you won't be able to jump it. It has to be right on the spot. And this is really good for if you're getting tower dope. People won't expect you to be able to do this, so really good spot right here. So since this is a beginner guide as well, I want to go over some things that maybe people already know, but maybe some people don't know. You can jump this wall right here. It looks a little thick, but Qiyana can jump it. I think all the way until here. Really good. You can also jump this wall. Pretty simple. This wall over here, I use so much when I'm trying to get away from people. So you can jump this. You can grab grass from here, which is really, really huge. And then there's one more spot I want to talk about. It's by Gromp. You can actually grab grass from here. All you have to do is put your cursor semi near it, and then you have grass elements. Some other random tips with Qiyana. If you're starting off in Qiyana Jungle, or you're trying to first clear, it should be important that you're utilizing your passive. Obviously, your passive gives you more damage with the first attack you do to an enemy champion. So when you're clearing camps on Qiyana, you always want to auto with one element, swap elements, so you reset your passive and keep autoing. There are also a few tips that people may not know. So along with walls and river, Qiyana can also ulti all structures in the game. So stuff like Talia's wall, stuff like a Nivea wall, stuff like a Zir ore, stuff like Trundle Pillar, Your Cage. All of these abilities Qiyana can R and knock back on. So it's important to understand this. Also, abilities like the Nivea wall can also block your R, can be used to block it, same with Trundle Pillar. So be careful if you ever see these enemies on enemy team. So I also want to talk a little bit about runes and the process of playing Qiyana mid lane specifically. So I usually take electrocutes. This means that I'm playing for early game, I'm playing to get lane advantage, I'm playing to roam, I'm playing to snowball, I'm playing assassin. I take sudden impact for the lethality and magic penetration. Eyeball collection is good for any assassins to help snowball. And then you get the choice of Treasure Hunter and Genius. Treasure Hunter basically gives you more gold every time you collect a stack. This helps you get to your Prowlers faster. If you're leaning towards the Ingenious, this basically just means you can have your Prowlers up more. For the second tree, I go Presence of Mind. Presence of Mind is really, really important for Qiyana, especially in extended fights, because this allows her to have mana to combo more people, so her mana won't be drained the entire time. And then Last Stand, this is probably one of the most important runes on Qiyana. You can use this in lane very well. It's a rune that helps you outplay when you're lower on HP. So if you're low on HP in lane, people won't expect the burst that you have combined with your electrocute, your rock Q execute, plus last stand damage. It is a lot of damage, especially in early laning phases. So this is a really, really good tree. In general, I think Qiyana, you want to be looking to scale. In general, when playing Qiyana, you want to be looking for early game pressure. You are an assassin, you want to try to snowball the game, and you want to be going for squishies and not for tank your champions. But if there is a certain time when I would go a different rune page, to be when the enemy is very, very tanky and I feel like I would have a hard time playing. This rune page would be First Strike. You're kind of playing for your mid-game spike. You're playing to scale and have mid-games items, kind of surrendering your early game pressure. I take Magical Footwear. It's very, very good. It gives you free boots. I take Futures Market. I feel like I don't need biscuits. Some people need the biscuits crutch, but I think Futures Market is really good. It helps you get your Prowlers earlier into the game. Or Eclipse if they're really, really tanky. Cosmic Insight for the Summoner Spell Haste, Item Haste. Sudden Impact, obviously, for lethality. And then I take Ingenious just so I have my Prowlers up more and my Eclipse more. And you take attack damage, armor. If you're playing jungle, I might swap this out for attack speed, as Qiyana clear early isn't so good this patch. But other than that, you can kind of do your own thing with these rune pages. These are just what I prefer and what I would recommend to people starting out. To anyone that actually watched the entire guide, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I hope this helped a lot of people, and it certainly helped me answer a lot of questions that I get all the time. One thing I can say, if you're starting off on Qiyana and you feel like she's really hard, don't quit. It's a long process. It takes a lot of games. It's a lot of muscle memory. If you really want to learn the champ, never give up. But thank you for watching my guide. I appreciate it. If you could help me out and give me a like. If you enjoyed it, it would mean a lot. Comment if you want more guides like this in the future. I also stream on Twitch every single day. Play basically only Qiyana every single day. That'll be in the description, also on the screen. And yeah, I appreciate anyone that took the time to look into this. Good luck. I hope you guys smurf it on Qiyana.